Well, you already know I'm a horror movie fan, that's for sure. That is for sure. But there's one type of movies, even being a big time horror movie fan, that I don't really like to watch when it comes down to it, even for the scare factor, and that is the Exorcist movies. I watch them, but still, I don't enjoy them like I enjoy horror movies. Because I had two times where it kind of really messed me up in a way. I'll tell you the first time wasn't so bad the way it messed me up. It just scared me to the point of fear, fear to not even continue watching the movie, which wasn't that bad. If anything, it might have been a great thing. The first Exorcist movie. Can you believe that? A movie from 1970s or 1980s was able to scare me so bad that I had to cut it off. Of course, I was 15, 16 at the time. 15 or 14 at the time. But still, I was still a horror movie fan even like since I was 3. I've been loving horror movies. So the fact that a horror movie actually made me stop watching it, crazy. I mean, I even, before this happened, I even watched a horror movie that actually made me puke from what it was showing. The movie, was it? I think it was called Halloween. Yeah, it was called Halloween. I thought it was going to be like a parody of Michael Myers' Halloween. No, it's just a really messed up story. A really messed up story. Luckily, it had the name of Halloween because that makes it hard to find. You go try looking up the movie Halloween, you're going to find the Michael Myers movie. You won't find that movie I watched, the one about the little kid that gets turned into um, basically a burnt victim and in a mask going around killing. It's hard to find that one. But it was on Netflix, so who knows? Maybe you are able to find it pretty easier, like I was able to stumble upon it. But then again, I wasn't able to stumble upon it even till this day. Since the last time I watched it, I still haven't been able to find the movie to prove it exists. You know. Anyways, before I get into this topic, I feel like I want to say, I don't know. I feel like I want to say I want to make the video 18 plus, only for adults to listen to. You know. But at the same time, I feel like it should be warned to all ages, because there is a warning at the end of this video. I feel like we should be warned. We're never really warned about these exorcist movies and the power they actually have behind them, in front of them, however you want to view it. Heck, now I'm thinking about it, it's been 3 times since the Exorcist movie's been screwed. Well, no, the third one was The Haunting, and that the Haunting movie, The Haunting in Connecticut. That one, I think. Yeah, the third Haunting in Connecticut, actually. But everyone experienced that one. You all have video proof of it. Me, I only have my eyewitness of what I seen. And jeez, is it freaky. But anyways, that's not the topic. Today I already warned you all about that movie before in the past. So yeah, I haven't warned you all about the Exorcist movie though. I think I have, but not at a full extent. I did it like, oh, this movie scared me. That's all I said, really. The most scariest movie. Now I'm going to tell you, though, these Exorcist movies, they have legit power to them. Power that most of us, not most of us, but a lot of us, honestly, even the Christians out there and Catholics, even them, they don't want to believe this movie has this kind of power of evil. In reality, yeah, those possession and exorcist movies do have the power to do some crazy things in your world after watching them. And if you watch them alone, it's more likely to show you the power it has. Because it's easier to spook one person than it is to spook a group. I think that's what it comes down to. So, where do I start with? The first one. The first Exorcist movie, I was watching it 15, 20 minutes in. I had to cut it off because after, like, once the bed started shaking, it was weird because the girl wasn't even becoming possessed yet. She was just like dealing with the poltergeist part of it, you know. The bed started shaking and everything, and that scared me so much. It put a weird fear in me that I never really felt before, like a fear, like as if I was in danger. So right away, I just turned off the movie and I went to go watch something else. Of course, another horror movie, but not an exorcist movie. No, no, no. The Freak Show, that's what it was. I watched the Freak Show instead of the Exorcist movie. It's a lot better than that one. Anyways, the second time the Exorcist movies affect me was a movie. Now, remember, every time this happened, I was alone watching it. That's where I got this idea. When you watch these movies alone, most likely that's when they affect you the most, in the most way that you do not want them affecting you. If you're not careful, you might be the next Exorcist movie, you know? You gotta know how to deal with these kind of things before getting into them, or if you're gonna watch them alone. So, Exorcist of Emily Rose was the second movie that really freaked me out. And this one I watched fully alone. My my sister and my cousin was there, but they were in a different room. In fact, they already watched that movie, and so they already knew that the movie had freaky consequences when you watched it. Did they tell me? Did they bother telling me? No, they just let me watch it, thinking it wouldn't happen to me. Sadly, I had the worst outcome. It was weird because the way it happened, it was like my sister. I already told you all this before, I think, but my sister, when she watched the movie Exorcist of Emily Rose alone, she woke up at 3 a.m. That was it. You know, she woke up for like 3 nights in a row or 2 nights in a row. She kept waking up at 3 a.m. just like the Emily Rose in the Exorcist movie. You know, she would wake up at 3 a.m., smell smoke, and then she'd start seeing them demons. Well, my sister would just be waking up at 3 a.m. for 2 nights in a row and quit after that. My cousin that watched it alone, she actually woke up at 3 a.m. and actually smelled smoke when she woke up at 3 a.m. And she actually woke up at 3 a.m. like 4 nights in a row instead of just two or three, like my sister. And every time she woke up, she would smell the smoke like the character in the movie. Now, I got done watching the movie, and my sister was going to take my cousin home. I think the next day, yeah. The next day, so I stayed at the house alone. Boy, was that a mistake. Because already I should have known it was going to be a mistake to stay at a place alone. Because after watching that movie, of course, I woke up at 3 a.m. I didn't smell smoke, but still, it was freaky to wake up at 3 a.m. out of nowhere. You know, having a deep sleep and then out of nowhere just being woken up. Not like a jump or nothing, just like out of nowhere, like as if it's the morning time you're supposed to wake up at. So I thought that was it for me, okay? Like my sister and my cousin told me after they watched the movie, because I told them that I was like, ain't that weird that I woke up at 3 a.m. after watching that movie? And they're like, that's why we didn't watch it too, because that happened to us too. I'm like, at that point, I'm like, why didn't you guys tell me this movie had powers like that? What the heck? And so we took my cousin home that day, the next day, and when we got back to the house, I actually went with them. Now I remember, I went with them to take my cousin home, and then when we got back to the house, my sister hopped in the shower, and I was in her room playing on the computer on her Sims game, and as I was playing, I looked over to the side, out the window, and I seen this guy walking, not even walking his dog, but he was supposed to be walking his dog down the sidewalk, right? Nah, when I looked out the window, there's this guy just staring at me like directly. Now we were in an apartment, so it's very, very weird, and a guy I never seen before, just there holding his poodle, white poodle. I remember it so vividly, just staring at me, just like with no expression on his face. I couldn't tell if he was angry. I couldn't tell if he was happy. I couldn't tell anything other than this guy was just staring at me. And so I freaked out really quickly, and I ran to the bathroom, knocked on it, let my sister know. There's a guy staring at me through the window. It's a bit spooky. I was probably 15, 16 at the time. Yeah, 15, 16 at the time. Um, Dang these June bugs. Then, I guess like 5 to 6 years later, I kind of put it together. I'm like, holy crap. What's happening is that movie was becoming stronger with every person in our blood that was watching the movie alone. Like first first my sister, she only woke up at 3 a.m. Then my cousin, she woke up at 3 a.m. and smelled smoke. Then me finally, waking up at 3 a.m., not smelling smoke, but seeing some weird crap like that. Who knows if that was a human, honestly. Because even the dog, the little poodle, was not moving at all. It was just staying there staring at me too. Both of them. It was so weird. Even today, I don't like when strangers stare at me because it just freaks me out. You know, you can't tell if that person's possessed or what. What's inside them making them stare at you. Something's hungry for them all. For whatever, you know, it's weird. This October, we got a new Exorcist movie coming out. And this one, it's not really like any of the other Exorcist movies at all when you think about it. Honestly, I was just watching a trailer, and now up in my room it's so hot. It's 89 degrees in my room right now. That's how hot it is. It's like 3 times as hot as it is outside right now. So I would be like, I have ice and a rag tied up in a Ziploc bag, using that to like cool off my body basically. And so after watching that new Exorcist trailer, I realized there was a cut on my stomach that formed there right after I watched the Exorcist trailer. Now here's the thing about the new Exorcist movie. That's that reason why it's not like any of the others, because this time there's 2 possessions happening. This is double. That might make it more dangerous in a way. Who knows? Maybe this, because when it comes down to it, you gotta think, what is causing it to have this kind of power of evil from just a movie, a film? Well, most likely when demons see it, they attach themselves to it. And if the demons like it enough, they will attach themselves to it and be attacking through it. Now this is double possession. This ain't like the first possession movies, Exorcist movies. You got 2 girls possessed in this one. So this one, I'm warning you all, do not watch it alone. If you're gonna go watch a new Exorcist movie, please take a friend. Take a friend, a family member. Honestly, I wouldn't suggest watching it alone. It might be dangerous. Just might be. Because after what I've been through with those Exorcist movies, after what I just told you, and watching the trailer and getting this little cut on my stomach. Tell right there, see? Up and down. I didn't scratch myself. I wasn't itching or nothing like that. It looks like a scratch mark, like a nail did it, right? No way. I was rubbing ice, not even ice, but like a cold rag on myself. So how would that cause a scratch? Unless if I was like dry and brittle, you know, or water would crack me. But that ain't the case. So that scratch came basically out of nowhere after watching the Exorcist trailer that's coming out this October. It's weird. I really want to watch a movie, but I really don't want to watch it alone. I feel like it'd be but probably dangerous after going through what those other 2 movies did. Probably putting a curse on my life. That's untelling what those movies did to me, honestly. After going through that, imagine that. You know, facing the same things a character goes through in those Exorcist movies. Even if it's not the full play, even if it's just a couple of things, the beginning of things, you know, it's still very spooky. It's interesting. What's really interesting to me is this. We made that video yesterday about, like, okay, or 2 days ago now, about saying, we want to see what's like in the monster world more with the movies. Well, 2 days later now, we got a new vampire movie, Dracula movie coming out, a new exorcism movie coming out. And it's crazy because I was even thinking about possessed people in that monster video, talking about monsters. I should have, though. That they sure do fit the category, don't they? I don't know. I don't know, though, honestly. I think angels and demons don't really fit the monster category or human category. They more have their own category. They go on like supernatural beings, if anything. I don't know. Either way, I just want to warn you all. Watching them exorcist movies is not a good idea to do alone. If you're planning to binge watch all the exorcist movies from start to finish, please have a crucifix nearby, at least. Something. Maybe even one of those rosemary cross necklaces on you while you do so. Because honestly, that's some serious dark magic you're going to be messing around with, putting yourself at the risk of. And for a viewer of mine, I don't want none of my viewers going down that path. You all seen those possession movies. They don't end good. Heck, even in the... Hold on. I swear I just heard running. Like running in the grass. But yeah, even in those even in the real life possession stories, they never end good. They try to have the exorcist, and what happens after the demon gets exorcised? Well, there's a 70% chance that the person possessed dies with the demon. So, with that in mind, and that's the real case. And honestly, I think I knew this a long time ago because as a horror movie fan, I used to watch all the horror videos online. Every scary video that you've seen online, I have seen it, most likely. Most likely. There's probably a few out there I haven't seen that are new, But all the old ones, yeah, I watched all the old ones. Now there's one old scary video I watched that I still feel like I regret I watched it. The Exorcist taping. An actual exorcist voice audio with some photos behind it. And man, when I listen to that, I can't. I can't listen to the full thing. At most, I listen to half of it. And then I felt weird. I felt like I was getting sick. I felt fear and sick at the same time. Because of just hearing that lady's voice that was possessed. Just from that alone. Because it was so real, and to know the story behind it and how it doesn't end good. I forgot her name. I don't even think I want to remember her name. Honestly, I don't want to remember that video that much. As if I see a picture from that video of that girl that got possessed, that they took the audio recordings of, I right away try to block it from my mind, because even the images of pictures they took of her after she got possessed for like 2 weeks, she looked like a zombie, like a real life zombie. So yeah, those exorcist movies, there's some real crap behind them. You gotta be careful when you watch them, that's all I'm saying. I'm not hating on the movies at all, because I feel like they're good when it comes to, letting people know the real powers of evil. What could actually happen if you go down that dark path, deciding to let that evil take a hold of you and win. It's a scary thing all the way around. For those that, even for those that aren't even decide to do that, but they know someone that decides to do that, and they have to sit there and watch them as they deteriorate, as they get pulled to the underworld, at least their vessel. Their soul is probably gone. Because I believe there's like a part in the possession where it's like once it becomes too long of a possessed state, it's like God will basically be like, okay, now I'm going to give you an option. You can either stay with this body or you can just be called back up. Because God doesn't want you to be tortured by a demon this way. And if He sees it's not going to have a good ending, which most of the time it's not, well, He's going to give you a better outcome, a better option. It's crazy stuff, those exorcist movies, they really are. But but yeah, double trouble for this October, huh? Who knows, we might end up seeing Satan